Hello, I am Somrita Urni Ganguly. I am a professor, poet, and literary translator presently working in Calcutta. Today, for the Poets Reading Poets series, I shall be reading to you excerpts from my English translation of a Bangla poem by the Bengali poet Nabarun Bhattacharya. This poem is called "This Valley of Death is Not My Country." The translation was published in September 2019. Nabarun was the wild child of Bengali poetry. He was born in 1948 and he died in Calcutta in 2014. He was committed to an aesthetic of revolution and radical politics. His works are anti-state, anti-institution, anti-establishment. He won the Sahitya Academy Award in 1997, which is an award instituted by the Indian Academy of Letters. This was for his celebrated novel, Herbert. He is remembered today for his vitriolic language, his fearless criticism of governments, and his ability to masterfully employ words for subversive purposes. The Bangla poem was originally published in 1972. It talks powerfully and poignantly about the Naxalbari uprising in Bengal. Naxalbari is a place in North Bengal, a small village, which came into the limelight in 1967 for an armed farmers' uprising against the then government of West Bengal in India. Through his audacious metaphors, fiery rhetoric, and studied images, Nabarun recreates the dream of a world saw state-sponsored violence, a socially just world, one where there is freedom, equality, and dignity for all. He refuses to accept a state that silences its citizens, and thus I feel this poem transcends its local, rooted reality and can be read today in the context of Syria, Iraq, Palestine, America, South Korea, India, and every other community of people fighting against the oppression of the ruling neoclassical class. So, here's the poem. I'm reading excerpts from my English translation of Nabarun's Bangla poem. This valley of death is not my country. I detest the father who is afraid to identify the body of his son. I detest the brother who is still behaving shamelessly normal. I detest the teachers, intellectuals, poets, clerks who do not publicly seek to avenge these murders. 8 bodies lie stretched out on the streets of conscience. This is driving me insane. 8 pairs of undead eyes stare at me in my sleep. I wake up screaming. They call me at ungodly hours to the playfields, at all hours, all the time. I will go mad. I shall kill myself. I will do exactly as I please. This is the time to write your poems. On walls, with stencils, in manifestos, this is the time to create a collage of poems with your blood, tears, bones. This is the time to hurl your poems as you look hard at the blinding headlights of the vans and face terrorism with a face torn with extreme pain. This is the time to read poems, denying the .38 specials and every other weapon that the murderers have. Let protests and poems echo in the stone cold rooms of the lockups, shaking up the bright cold post-mortem lamps in the staged courtrooms directed by the murderers, in institutes of lies and false education, within the state apparatus of fear and exploitation, in the hearts of military and non-military agents. Like Lorca, let the poets of Bengal be prepared to be murdered, to be asphyxiated, to become missing corpses, to be stitched by the bullets of Sten guns. Yet, it is absolutely crucial that the poetry of the villages surrounds the poetry of the cities. This valley of death is not my country. This hangman's carnivalesque theater is not my country. This infinite crematorium is not my country. This blood-bathed slaughterhouse is not my country. I shall snatch my country back again. I shall embrace in my heart dew-kissed grass evenings and autumn festivities again. Is my body alight with fireflies? Or with tomb fires are the mountains aflame? Countless hearts, harvests, fairy tales, flowers, women, rivers, I shall name after every martyr, each constellation. I shall call on the intoxicated winds and the lakes, bright-eyed like fish under the sun glimmering. Love, from which I have been exiled for eons now, ever since birth, I shall call love too. Keep it close to me on the day we celebrate the revolution. I reject the day-long, night-long, long interrogations under 100-watt bulbs blistering the eyes. I reject the needles forced under nails while we lie on slabs of ice. I reject being hung upside down by the ankles until the noses bleed dry. I reject the boots stamping my lips, the scars made with burning pins all over my body. I reject the sudden alcohol searing my blood after sharp whips have lashed open my back, piece by piece. I reject the beatings, beatings until death. I reject the firing revolvers against the skull of my head. Poetry knows no chains. Poetry is fortified. Poetry is fearless. Poetry is free. Look, look, Hikmet, Neruda, Aragon, Eluard, Mayakovsky, we have not let your poetry stand defeated. Look, see. In fact, the entire nation now is trying to script an epic. All rhetoric is going to be composed in guerrilla verse from today. Let percussions thunder. Let tribal villages become ravenous islands. Let blood incarnadine indigo fields. Spears, spies, javelins of conquest lances. Traps everywhere. Missiles, axes. Tribal totems keep rhythm with the beats of the percussions. Guns, daggers, choppers, and waves of courage. So much courage that there is nothing more to fear. And there is more. Cranes, spiked bulldozers, convoys, rallies, functioning dynamos, turbines, engines, eyes that shine like hard diamonds in the methane dark, coal dark, landslide dark nights. Iron hammers most wondrous, raised armed fists in skies, covering docks, jute mills, furnaces. No, fear no more. The pale face of fear is a stranger now, for I know that death is love. If they kill me, I shall burn like flames in the millions of earthen lamps of Bengal. I cannot be destroyed. I shall return as the green hope of the soil, year after every year. I cannot be destroyed. I shall remain in sorrow, in happiness I shall remain, in funerals and new births. As long as this land remains, I will be. So long as men may breathe or eyes can see, so long I will be. Why the hesitation, the doubt, the panic? Those 8 undead men surround you in the dark of the eclipse. They whisper to you. Who is standing guard? Where? When? In their voices, you hear of the omnibus of tens of thousands of stars, galaxies, seas, the legacy to drift from one planet to another, free. Let the glowing torch of poetry, let the Molotov cocktail of poetry, let the toluene and gasoline of poetry fall headlong and combust in the fire of this hope. Thank you for giving us this platform, and may Nabarun's words ring true for all of us as we try to fight for our rights and our dignity. This poem is for friends in America who are challenging the status quo right now.